Welcome to the DSPN.
He's given him. Well, there you go. He was forward.
Oh, a punch up now in midfield. Fraser's involved.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Super Rugby Round 12 then wrapped up, and these were the results. Blues force on the Friday night, 40-19. Drua beating the Reds at 36-33. Canes over the Chiefs. That was a cracker of a match. Brumbies whipping New South Wales, and yesterday in Dunedin, the Highlanders getting pipped at the post by Moana Pacifica. Well, the former All Black, who also does a fair bit of work on Sky Sport, a good old mate, Richard Turner, Pod, joins us again. G'day, mate. How are we?
Yeah, Marty. Yeah, I'm good, man. Thank you.
I got some questions to roll at you. Quick fire answers. So, who is the best team in the comp right at the moment?
Oh, it hurts me to say it, Marty, and not that they were playing in the weekend, but I've got to say probably the Crusaders, given the Chiefs' performance. It pains me to say it, but I think they'll...
The Crusaders.
Yeah. Did I say that?
Are the Blues going to make it, yes or no?
Yes.
Are the Canes the new dark horse of this competition?
Yes.
Are MP going to make it, yes or no?
No.
Are we down now to just two Australian sides?
If the Blues make it, yes. Yeah. The final three, but that sixth spot, three teams, Blues forced in the task. Right.
Is it all going to come down?
One of those three are going to make it, and I'm picking it's the Blues.
Is it all going to come down then to the very last match of the very last round?
Potentially, yep.
All right.
But it's been that sort of comp, right? It's been a great comp. We've all enjoyed it. Been some great rugby, been some good contests. No one's, Chiefs and Crusaders. Brumbies are rolling along, but no one's been unbeatable. So that's always a great comp, right? So that we make that final six, and then it's all go.
Best thing about it.
Fantastic.
So let's start with the Hurricanes beating the Chiefs, because that was a mighty performance from the Canes, and again backing up after going to the Brumbies and winning in Canberra. What does it tell you about the Chiefs to start with, that loss?
Look, again, no team's unbeatable. So you can they'll roll out all the cliches. You've got to front up every week, and also at this time of year, it's a bit of a test on your depth of squad. The Chiefs went on their game, and the Hurricanes are seemingly on a bit of a roll performance-wise, and key players, all the key players performing well, and they got the job done. They got the job done last weekend, but again, as I say, the beauty of this competition is they play tomorrow and we get a different result.
What does that win tell you about the Hurricanes?
Yeah, as I just say, they've got momentum, right? And it's a big thing this time of year. Momentum means obviously playing well, winning, and that momentum builds confidence. And if you go into this part of the season with momentum and confidence, then you're a tough side to beat.
The reason I'm asking you those questions is because I'm interested in your answers as opposed to, it means that this side is better and this side is better. And straight away you've just said that what we're in a situation with, we don't know, do we? We really don't know. I mean, the Crusaders had that weekend off. They now play the Chiefs this weekend. And, Sense and Sensibility would suggest, well, maybe the Crusaders are actually the better side. But I would not be at all surprised if the Chiefs go down there and turn them over. And that kind of negates everything that's just happened over the last couple of weeks in that case.
Yeah, exactly right. And you go, is having a week off at this time of the competition a good thing or not? So, look, there's all these things we're thrown into the mix now. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to, literally the side that turns up, the side that turns up, the side that turns it on, is the side that's going to win. And again, I come back to what makes a great competition is that it is competitive, and this is certainly competitive, and no one's riding into the playoff as a firm favourite.
Let's look at the Blues then, because we've waited. I think the last time that we spoke to you on camera, I think was the first time, or it might have been the week after the first time, that the Aussies had four sides in the top six. Now you've got four New Zealand sides in the top seven. You've got MP sitting there in the sixth spot. And so two of those Aussie sides have dropped out. What is it saying to you about the Australian sides right now? Is it that New South Wales and the Force are gone? Is it only going to be the Reds and the Brumbies? Are they only going to get two in the playoffs?
Well, if everything goes the way that it's going at the moment, then they'll only have the two teams. But again, come back to that point about at the moment, it's a lottery, so no one's a favourite, and it will come down that sixth spot. Unfortunately, I don't think Moana, given that their run home, Blues, Chiefs, and the Hurricanes are going to make it. So Blues fourth and the Waratahs are the three teams vying for that spot. And if you look at the draws of those teams, then the Blues have probably the Tars got the toughest one. And the Brumbies the Force with the Brumbies, the Drua and the Tars, they've probably got the next best opportunity. But certainly, I think it's all there for the Blues. So, the Blues have kind of stuttered through the season, but they've put themselves in with a chance of making the sixth. And as we said, we're sounding repetitive, but once you're in that sixth, it's anybody's ball game.
Okay, so the Blues now go to the Drua this coming Friday night. And again, fascinating that contest, isn't it? Because this is a Drua side who'll be very disappointed with themselves over the course of the season. They've only won 3 games, but 2 of those games they've actually won in the last few games, and that's against 2 high-flying Australian sides, the Reds and New South Wales, and turned them both over. And they thoroughly deserve that win on the weekend. So again, if they claw their way past the Blues, I can't see them making the six. I don't think anyone can, but it's not out of the realms of mathematical possibility. But I suppose more the question is how difficult a game is that for the Blues?
Yeah, that's the question. It's a challenging game for the Blues because, they got over the Suva Voodoo at the weekend. They got that monkey off their back, the draw. So, and look, you watch that game and the crowd is next level over there. And it's certainly, you can actually see how inspiring the crowd is to the players and in terms of the way they play over there. So, look, it's a challenge for the Blues, but, Blues at their best, should comfortably beat the Drua, even though the Drua at home. And again, it's really all sitting there for the Blues. If they want to make, they've given themselves an opportunity to make the playoffs. If they want to make it, they've got to tip over the Drua, and then the following week they play Moana. It's a home game for Moana, but essentially across the bridge for the Blues. So they have plenty of support there. And then we talked about it last week that it'll come down. I think potentially come down to that final weekend with a showdown against the Waratahs, which is great.
They've got 2 huge bruising games to come, though, haven't they? And then they get that bye, and then if they do make the playoffs, that bye is probably perfectly timed for them.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
But, Moana with the wind in the sails as well, a week off this week, and then, that's like a cup final, that game against the Blues. It must be everything that the franchise has wanted to play such a meaningful match at this time of the year with jeopardy, whatever the scoreline is.
Yeah, that's right. But, the unfortunate thing for Moana is that they get through the Blues.
The Chiefs and the Hurricanes, right? Yeah.
And then they get through the Chiefs, then you go, oh, well, to make it, you've got to play the Canes. So, they've got the toughest road home, there's no doubt about it. But, that one game against the Blues at home, it's their last home game, if you like, and then they're away. So, if they jump that hurdle, Marty, then they might have the confidence and the momentum to do the unthinkable.
Pod, I want to go to the Australian sides now, who, as I said, we had 4 out of the top 6 spots for about 7 or 8 weeks with the Aussie sides, and you can talk about vagaries of the draw, you can talk about whatever you want, but the fact is they'd scored the wins and got the points in there. Now there's only 2 of them, right? And let's look at the Brumbies to start with, who beat MP, lost to the Canes, beat New South Wales. They've had a season like this right from the off, haven't they? In one of their first games, they lost at home to the Force. Now when you actually look at their fixture list coming up, as you say, they've got the Canes to play. Sorry, no, they don't. They've got the Crusaders in that very last game. They go to Perth, which is a really tough game. Then they've got the Reds. Then they've got the Canes. And then they round up the Crusaders. So I'm getting lost here in all my things. No, they get the bye. So they've got the Reds, the bye, the Crusaders. So that's it. Let me just get that right. They're away the Force, then they get the Reds at home, then they have that bye, and then they get the Crusaders. Again, just trying to figure out what side is this? Which is the one that we're actually seeing? Are we seeing, a side that's, really convincing winners, or are we seeing a side that loses at home to the Hurricanes? Which is that Brumbies side?
Yeah, look, I think that that's the beauty, or the good thing, the positive for the Brumbies and Brumbies fans is that they're sitting comfortably in that. They're third now, and
34 points, yeah.
No, yeah, they'll get enough points that they'll make the playoffs, right? So right now I think they're playing really good rugby. I think they're the Brumbies side that are the one Aussie side that can probably challenge the top two New Zealand sides for this title. So I think they're probably a better team than the Reds. All going well, but they'll make the playoffs, and that's all. That's all they have to do. Then they'll reset. They've got the talent there. That's the other thing. They've got you look across their squad. They've got good cattle in the right positions, and they all come together, stay injury free. Then I think they've got some really good potential to at their best to make the playoffs. To make the finals.
Now, the Reds and New South Wales play this weekend. I mean, you talk about cracker matches. You got the Drua, the Blues. New South Wales are at home. New South Wales have been fantastic at home. Can't seem to win anywhere else, can they? The Reds go away them. Then they're away the Brumbies after that. And then they get the Hurricanes after that. And then they get the Drua in their last game. So they're away in Sydney, which has been a fortress. Then they have to go to Canberra. Then they have to play the Hurricanes. This was a team that was sitting pretty and looking like they could be second or third in the table. They're only on 28 points, mate. The Canes are right up the Jaxie on 26, MP 24, the Blues 22. There's a chance this team could just keep sliding.
Every chance. There is. Of course, there's a chance they could slide, but I think Marty, that again, when they're at their best, they're a good side. They're a very good side. So for them, it's just it's making sure that they are at their best at this time of the season. And I think they'll having the Drua last game at home is probably enough to get them up, get them across the line.
Right.
It's certainly not an easy run home, but I think given all the other permutations, all the other matches that are going on, that's the key game is they'll pick up some points at the end, which even if they don't get all of the wins, they'll get enough points out of that last game to get them into that playoff.
Look at New South Wales then. Before we go on to some players that have really impressed you, home to the Reds, home to the Crusaders, and then they go away the Force and then away the Blues. I mean, what a nightmare of a schedule for them. Yeah. Those four games. Finals games. We talked about that last week, a couple of weeks ago. They were always going to have a tough run home, and obviously at the weekend they were really put to the sword, and quite simply weren't good enough. I think that would have been more if they didn't have that. Suiali, he's just I sat watching that game going, what a freak that guy is. He is such an athlete. That he at stages in that game he was a one-man band. He was the only player defending for them and the only player attacking for them. And that's not good for any side to be a one-man band. They've got a tough road ahead, and I don't think even with Suiali at his best that they're going to be good enough to jag enough points to get into this top six. Okay, let's pick our top six now with 4 rounds to go and just crystal ball gaze. Give me yay or nay. Chiefs and Crusaders, yes and yes?
Yep.
Brumbies, yes?
Yep.
Reds, yes?
Yep.
Canes, yes?
Yep.
And you're saying Blues, 6th spot?
Blues. Yep, that's my top 6.
Okay, I agree with all of that, and I think the Blues got destiny in their own hands. All right, let us finish then. Just some names. Throw some names at us that have really impressed you. Just some players. Look, you get Balin Sullivan on the weekend who comes on. Poor old Naholo does his knee. He comes on, he scores 4 tries. And we've been seeing this all week, every week, which has just been the joy of the competition, isn't it? There's nothing better than when you're seeing a new face or somebody that excites you, and you think, hello, maybe higher 100%. Honours, or what more can we see from you?
Yeah, 100%, and it's always the I mean, we're playing Super Rugby now, and so we're seeing some good talent come through at this level. It's also what I love about our EBC competition, that every year it just throws out the next generation of talent.
Yep.
At this level, it's been really pleasing to see some young talent, and particularly in key positions. That obviously there's some question marks. If we're looking at the next level, at All Black level, there's some real question marks around our midfield. So guys like Riley Higgins at the weekend, he's seemingly filling the boots of Geordie Barrett. Pretty big boots
Seems
to
a
fill,
smart player, that guy, doesn't he?
He's doing a really good job of it. Even young Xavier Taylor, who had another try at the weekend for the Blues. Very young player. Seems really comfortable at that level and seems to be a really gifted footballer. But then you've also got the incumbents, if you like. The Quinn Tupai's of the world playing really well. Billy Proctor's back. Seems to have just stepped up to that level, coming back from injury really, really quickly. It's as an All Black fan, yes, I'm sitting there going, this is good to see, because there are a lot of question marks. When it comes to picking our first All Black side for the season, so good to see that not only the incumbents, some of the incumbents are in there playing good footy, but there's some young talent playing well enough to ask some questions when it comes to picking an All Black side.
What a great comp. What a great comp. I mean, if you're not watching this comp, or if you haven't been, jump on now with 4 rounds to go. Everything to play for. Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, it has been, and look, be honest, much needed. It needed a fillip, and it's had it in terms of, look, and I think if you're looking for a reason, it has, I think, simplistically been just a couple of rule changes, law variations that they've brought in. That's changed. Change defensive systems and encourage teams to play the ball and hand game. We've just seen some crazy contests, and I'm a rugby nut, so I love watching the game, and I've watched more games over this Super Rugby competition than I have before. At the weekend, for example, I sat there and watched 2 Aussie teams play each other.
Go on.
In the past I might have. But I would have definitely watched the highlights. But I actually made a point of sitting down and watching it, and it's just been great footy as a code fan. It's been fantastic.
Always a pleasure, mate.
Pleasure's mine. Cheers, man.
This is the DSPN.